Ever heard of a car company on the verge of going bust,
Uh,
only to become the most valuable one out there?
yeah, talk about a roller coaster.
Well, that's Tesla for you. Today, we're doing a deep dive on them, how they went from, get this, almost disappearing, to earning that unicorn status.
Okay.
Yeah, our source actually uses that word unicorn.
It's a fitting comparison when you think about it. I mean, Tesla's path to success. Anything but ordinary.
Totally. Not your average car company story.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into Tesla itself, we need to rewind back to the 90s. Picture this. GM, the giant, releases an electric car, the EV1.
Right, their big experiment.
And guess what? People actually liked it. For its time, it wasn't even that bad, range-wise.
Yeah, and that's what makes the next part so strange. GM just gets rid of it, recalls almost every EV1, and scraps them.
Can you imagine the headlines if that happened today?
Total chaos.
Chaos is right. Anyway, this whole thing, how GM handled it, really got under the skin of two guys, Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning.
Silicon Valley guys, right.
Yeah, they'd literally just sold their digital book company for like $187 million.
Not exactly car guys.
Not even close. But they see this gap, this void left by the EV1, and bam, Tesla's born in 2003.
And then comes 2004, and who enters the picture?
Elon Musk.
The guy who just sold PayPal. But he doesn't just throw money at Tesla. Musk gets his hands dirty, starts designing their first car, the Roadster.
And he wins awards for the design before becoming CEO. Talk about dedication.
It's almost unheard of.
Then in 2006, he releases his grand plan, calls it, get ready for it, the secret Tesla Motors master plan.
Actually, right.
Totally. But this plan, it wasn't just about building some cool electric cars. This was about, well, everything.
He wanted to revolutionize how we get energy. Solar, batteries, electric vehicles, all connected. Ambitious doesn't even begin to describe it.
Understatement of the year.
Right.
But let's be real, those early years were rough. We're talking about Tesla nearly going bankrupt. The Roadster, yeah, it was groundbreaking, but cost a fortune to produce.
Right.
They were trying to use the Lotus Elise as a base, but only 7% of the parts were compatible.
Ouch.
And then, to make matters worse, the 2008 financial crisis hits. Talk about terrible timing. Things were looking beyond bleak.
That's when Musk's leadership, whether you like it or not, was really put to the test. He steps up as CEO, makes some tough choices, layoffs, pushing back the Model S, anything to give Tesla a fighting chance.
And then, seemingly out of nowhere, a lifeline. A cool $450 million loan from the government.
Game changer.
Talk about a vote of confidence. It wasn't just the money, it was the message it sent. Even the U.S. government believed in Tesla's potential.
Exactly. It gave them legitimacy when they desperately needed it. And it wasn't just the government. Around the same time, Daimler, the Mercedes folks, they decided to invest in Tesla too.
Which, back then, was a really big deal.
Huge. The established car industry, they weren't taking electric cars seriously. So Daimler, this giant, investing in Tesla.
Major validation.
Exactly. Suddenly, Tesla wasn't just some upstart anymore. And the partnership brought in much-needed expertise. Daimler's engineers knew a thing or two about building cars, that's for sure.
So they've got some cash, some big names backing them up. But how do you go from making a handful of cars to, actually competing with the big dogs in the auto industry?
That's the million-dollar question right there. And Musk's answer. Classic Musk. Go big or go home. Enter Gigafactories.
Now, those are big.
To put it mildly, he knew that to make electric vehicles mainstream, to get them in every driveway, Tesla couldn't rely on the old ways of doing things.
They needed to control the whole process.
Every single step, especially the batteries, the heart and soul of an electric car.
And when Tesla says control, they're not messing around. I mean, these gigafactories are massive. The one in Nevada, practically its own city, over 3,500 acres.
It's insane. And that goes back to vertical integration, something we touched on earlier. Think of it like this. Instead of buying a loaf of bread, you decide, hey, I'm going to grow the wheat, mill the flour, bake the whole thing myself.
Ambitious home baker.
Exactly. That's Tesla with these gigafactories.
Okay, so it gives them control, sure. But what's the big deal of making their own batteries?
2 words. Cost advantage. Batteries are the priciest part of an electric car. Producing them in-house at that scale. Huge savings. But it's not even just about the money that helps.
It's about calling the shots, really.
Exactly. Tesla gets to experiment with new battery tech, new designs, push the limits. It's about controlling your own destiny, really.
Creating this whole ecosystem, from raw materials to the finished product.
Exactly. And that brings us to a make-or-break moment. The Model 3.
This wasn't just another car. This was the car.
It was everything they'd been working towards. Could they make an electric car for the everyday person, not just the wealthy early adopters?
The pressure was on. If the Model 3 flopped, that could have been it for Tesla.
No doubt about it. They had to nail the price, nail the production, and meet this insane demand. And let's not forget, this is a company that had come this close to disappearing.
No pressure, right. So what happened?
Against all odds, they did it. The Model 3 wasn't just good, it was a game changer.
And everyone wanted one. Sales records shattered, became the best-selling electric car ever.
Remember that $35,000 price tag Musk wouldn't stop talking about?
That magic number.
They actually did it. Vertical integration, efficient manufacturing, those gigafactories pumping out batteries. It was a gamble, but it paid off. Tesla was officially a force to be reckoned with in the EV world.
They'd conquered the electric car market. Well, for now at least.
But this is Tesla we're talking about. They weren't done. Not even close.
Oh no, they had much bigger plans brewing. This wasn't just about cars anymore.
This was about changing the world. Remember Musk's secret master plan?
How could we forget?
It was never just about cars. It was about changing how we power our lives.
They were thinking way bigger, weren't they?
Yeah.
This wasn't just building a company. It's like building a whole new energy system.
Exactly. And in 2016, they make this move, acquiring Solar City.
The solar panel company, right?
Yeah, focused on residential solar. This acquisition led to things like the Powerwall, that home battery system, and even those solar roof tiles Tesla's been working on.
It was a bold move, buying up a whole solar company. You got to admit, some people thought they were biting off more than they could chew. Especially with Solar City, not exactly thriving at the time.
Oh, there were definitely raised eyebrows.
Right.
And it was risky, no doubt. But it kind of makes sense when you zoom out and look at Musk's big picture vision. He wasn't just trying to sell cars. It's about creating this whole ecosystem. You generate clean energy with your solar panels, store it with your Powerwall, and what you use to power it all, your Tesla. It's a closed loop, a sustainable energy ecosystem that gets us off those pesky fossil fuels.
They really put their money where their mouth is.
But speaking of pushing boundaries, we have to talk about autopilot. It's been a pretty controversial move.
Yeah, Tesla really jumped headfirst into self-driving tech, even though, let's be honest, it's still got a ways to go.
For a lot of people, self-driving cars still feel like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Right, but Tesla's trying to make it a reality, even with all the, the big questions that come with it, safety, ethics, all that. Yeah, like, is autopilot really as safe as they claim? Are we ready for self-driving cars mixing with regular drivers on the road? These are questions we're still figuring out.
Totally. And it sparked some serious debate, but you can't deny that Tesla's been a driving force in moving things forward, even with the controversy. So we've got this company, right, started from the bottom, almost went under, now they're dominating the electric car market, diving into sustainable energy, even messing around with self-driving cars.
Quite the journey.
Yeah.
But where do things stand for Tesla today?
Well, after years in the red, burning through cash, facing all those doubters, Tesla finally becomes profitable in 2019. And not just a little bit sustained profitability. Then they hit a major milestone. They're included in the S&P 500.
That's a big deal, right?
Huge. Think of it like this. They'd gone from this scrappy startup to joining the Wall Street elite practically overnight. It cemented their place, not just as a car company, but as a major force in the global economy.
From underdog to top dog. But, and this is the big question, can they keep it up?
That's what everyone's wondering. They've got competition now, serious competition. The traditional car companies, the ones that thought electric cars were a joke, they're scrambling to catch up.
Throwing billions at their own EV programs.
Exactly. And let's be real, Tesla and Elon Musk, they seem to attract controversy wherever they go. Every tweet, every product launch, it's like the whole world's watching, analyzing every move.
They definitely know how to make headlines. But maybe that's part of being a disruptor, right? They've turned the car industry upside down, forcing everyone to rethink what's possible.
No doubt. But the question is, can they hold on to that edge, that innovative spirit as they get bigger and bigger?
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the Tesla story, far from over. Whether they stay on top or stumble, it's already one for the history books. They achieved what a lot of people thought was impossible.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Can they keep beating the odds? Will those big bets on self-driving cars and renewable energy pay off? We'll have to wait and see.
And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into Tesla. We hope we gave you a sense of this company's incredible journey, a journey that's still unfolding. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep exploring the world around you.